So we're continuing on with the business theme with my next guest. So let me find her and we're going to dive right in. If you're enjoying this so far, please let me know. Go ahead and comment below and let us know that you're here. Say hi, where you're logging in from, ask a question, or share one of your takeaways. Each person have been sharing takeaways that they really want you to benefit from. But so far, what have you gained and what have you learned, and how this has supported you and helped you today, right? Go ahead and share that in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Heidi says, Stephanie, this is such a great event. Thank you. Thank you so much, Heidi. And again, thank you for presenting your expertise. All right. So I am bringing on my next expert, friend and colleague, Lynn McGinnis. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. This is such a great event.
Yes, it is. It is great. I am actually getting value myself so far, even as the host. I'm very. Come again?
So much information. I've learned something from everyone. I'm so impressed. It's been wonderful. Thank you for doing this.
You are welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for being here and giving us a little bit of your time, as I know that you are too a busy mom, as I am, a busy daughter, a busy business owner, giving a wealth of support to your clients. So let me go ahead and introduce you to our folks formally, and then we'll dive right into what we're going to talk about today. So Lynn McGinnis brings her more than 30 years small business marketing experience to the self-publishing space, and it teaches authors how to treat their marketing journey like a small business. Through coaching, consulting, and done-for-you marketing services, Lynn helps authors build and grow their platforms, increase visibility, and reach their unique marketing goals. When she's not working, Lynn likes to watch cheesy disaster movies, play Sims 4, and spend time with her husband, 2 adult children, and their Pomeranians in and around the hills of northern New Jersey. And what we're going to talk about today is how you can use your book to demonstrate your expertise as a marketing tool in any service-based business. All right? Ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, let's dive into this, right? So what led you to doing this kind of work?
I've worked in small business marketing since I was in college, in internships. I've worked in many industries, manufacturing, healthcare, IT. I've worked as a marketing specialist. And so I spent many years working to help build and grow small to medium-sized businesses as a marketing specialist. And one of the fields I also had the opportunity to work in was publishing. And I was called to work with a publisher who wanted to create, as an add-on service for her clients, book launch programs. And this was a small self-publisher. And so I created and helped to implement these book launches. And what I learned during the process, because I also got to work within the publisher in every aspect of publishing, from reviewing manuscripts for publication, proofreading, editing, layout, design, everything through distribution and marketing. I wasn't prepared for how unprepared authors were. And I think that part of it came out of the boom of self-publishing from Amazon. Amazon has made it so easy for people to self-publish. And as a result, there are some not so great practices out there. But more than that, the author who has written a book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, if it's a business book, if it's a romance book, whatever it is, their specialty isn't marketing. And so what I came to understand was that they really didn't have the support that they needed. And so what I found was, as I was creating these book launches, successfully launching books for this publisher, at the end of, that was a freelance opportunity. At the end of that freelance opportunity, I decided, you know what? I love this. I love books. I love reading. And I decided that I was going to shift my business exclusively into self-publishing and work with authors, to help teach authors how to become the small business owners that they are.
Great. I love that story, because a lot of persons, have, writing a book as their bucket list item. And Unfortunately, writing, we consider the writing the hard part, and it is.
Right.
It's challenging to get that book, on paper and get it out there. But then the marketing part of it now is where, if you're not, you could be an author, really expert at what you do, but the marketing piece is not your strength. And then the book doesn't get out there to the people who need to hear what persons have to share through their books. So I'm happy that you are talking about this and supporting authors in this way.
Thank
So,
you.
like I said, it's a bucket list item for many people to be published, right? And at the same time, it can be high-level strategy to showcase and demonstrate your expertise as a business owner. Is this what you found in terms of the challenges that people have to overcome to get their book out there?
Oh, absolutely. A book can absolutely help to showcase your expertise to help you stand out in the industry. Nobody does what you do. No one does exactly what you do. And it's not an easy thing to do. There are a lot of challenges. I think most of the time, like you said, that it is a bucket list item, because it is for me. And I've actually set aside November to write my business book, because I haven't done that yet. I've got, bits and pieces of it, but I'm going to put it all together. And I'll publish my book next year. But it is very challenging to do. But it can make you stand head and shoulders above your competition within your industry.
Yes, it can truly, coming to the market or being in market as a published author, really takes your expertise, your expertise, rather your status as a business owner to the next level. Having doing what you do and having been published as well. So I really agree that it really can position you and have you be a force to be reckoned with in your industry as a small business owner, or coach, or consultant, or service-based business owner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's quickly go through the reasoning behind why this is a great way to position yourself or to demonstrate your expertise, and why persons should seriously consider, if they haven't done yet, why should they seriously consider writing a book?
The service-based business owner is unique. They're not, if they're selling a service, they don't have a product. So you can look and say, when you've got, when you're producing a widget and you're selling this widget, you can say, like, this is the best widget in the industry. Everybody buys this widget. And, when you're selling a service, it's a little bit different, and it can be challenging. I can tell you, as the owner of a digital marketing agency, it can be really challenging. So you look for things like, you want to share case studies, you want to share reviews from your clients and accolades from clients and things like that. So it's really unique. It's a unique challenge to demonstrate skills as a service-based business owner. So by writing a book, it enables this service-based business owner to take these systems and these processes that they've created that are really unique to them and showcase them to demonstrate to people that what you're doing, your stuff, how to solve a problem. You're demonstrating that you have the solution to a problem that perhaps a consumer or another business owner might have, and you've created a system, you've created a process that can solve this problem. And so it's I had one of my clients said it was a very expensive lead magnet. It's a little bit more than a lead magnet, because it is just so much more than that, because it really gives you this opportunity to show who you are and show what you know.
Right. And I'm glad you're talking about the content. I mean, because I think one of the questions that come up for people is whether or not the content or the makeup of the book that you're now writing, say you're a service business owner, or coach, or consultant watching this, should this be a treatise of all the ins and outs of the way that you serve your clients? Should you just put everything in there, your processes and all of that?
See, I know that everybody hears that and they think, oh, I don't want to give everything away. Well, you're going to copyright your book. All right. So you protect your book. That's definitely one of the things you're going to do before you publish your book. You're going to file a copyright with the Copyright Office, so your work is protected. Of course, we always run the risk in the service-based industry about anybody grabbing what you do and taking it. And I think that's something that, it's your baby. You created this system, this process, whatever it is, and you want to be careful. There was a trend for a little while where business owners were writing books, and they weren't sharing everything. They weren't sharing these processes. They were sharing case studies, which everyone loves to hear because they love to be able to put themselves in that position to see, can you solve my problem? So they love to hear different problems so that they know, they can identify. But what happened with this trend was that these business owners were writing these books with just enough information that people felt tricked. Like, I bought this book and here's a little bit. Oh, you got to hire me to know the rest. We don't do that anymore. You really do. You share everything. Now, there's going to be two people who read this book. There will be the person who takes everything you wrote and attempts to implement it themselves. And that's great. But they will never achieve what you've achieved because this is yours. And they're never going to be your client anyway. Or maybe not now. Maybe it's not even the right time for them. Maybe they're struggling and they're going to see after they read this book that they really don't have it in them. And there's going to be the business owner. There's going to be the person who realizes that, you know what? Stephanie wrote this book. She really knows what she's doing. I have no idea what I'm going to do. This was great. I learned a lot from this, but I do not have the time to learn this. This is not what I do. I'm going to hire Stephanie to do this for me. And that's who you're writing the book for. And that's why you outline everything in the book.
I love that. Yeah. You can't, and it's kind of what I tell clients too, when they ask me, one of the things that I teach my clients is list building. And one of the, and we spoke about it just now, one of the entry levels into list building is creating a lead magnet. And persons ask, so do I give away the store in the lead magnet? Or, my blog posts or my live streams, do I tell people, give away all my strategies there? And you're right. There's some people that will watch the live stream or download the lead magnet and actually implement and possibly get some success, but it's not going to mirror your success, possibly not in terms of just, a simple live stream or a lead magnet that you did. And there's some that's going to watch it or consume it and say, yes, I definitely need to work with this person. So I fully agree with you there. And that I want to stay on that point in terms of the people who you're really writing for,
Right.
Who would want to work with you, as we segue into my next question for you, which is the investment involved, right? Because this is going to be an investment in time, and certainly an investment in money. And I want to talk about that. And I want people listening, and I'm sure you have this advice as well, know that you're going to see a return from the persons who read the book, see you as an expert because you're now a published author and will want to get even more in your space and invest money to do so. All right. So let's talk about the investments.
So there are a lot of variables. You may need to hire a ghostwriter because you might not have the time. You might need to hire a writing coach. Writing coaches are worth their weight in gold. A good editor, a developmental editor. You really want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. So I would guess, and I know people who charge up to $20,000. I know some of my clients have done it for about $8,000. So I would guess, you don't want to cut corners, but I would say probably between 8 and 20,000. And I know that sounds like so much money. If you look at what you're spending to put in your money, if you look at the return on investment, if you look at, what are you charging your clients? What are you charging as a coach, as a consultant? What are you charging in your service-based business? That's where you hope to have that return on investment.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's going to sound daunting, and we're not going to go into all the ins and outs of how Lynn helps her clients today, but there's a lot involved, getting from soup to nuts, from idea to published book to getting it out there, to promoting and marketing and all that good stuff. There's a lot in that journey that I'm sure if you were to see the line item breakdown, you would see it justified as to why it costs. Why the investment looks like that, right? So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So, is this, flat out question, is this an income earner for a business owner?
So not the way you think. So not really in book sales. So to be perfectly honest, most books, a paperback book, you earn about $2 or $3 a book. So we have this idea of what we know about publishing. It's not what it, and we're talking specifically about self-publishing. All right. Because business books, you're really your best bet unless you are very famous, very well known. This is probably how it's going to work. It's going to be a self-published book. And there's really no shame in that anymore. People are producing incredibly beautiful books, great books, really well-written books, and they're publishing them themselves with the aid of editors, copywriters, professional layout, professional covers. But so not in terms of book sales. So really, there are, the purpose here is for you to attract clients. So, and there are people who do earn money. I know I worked with someone who was speaking at corporate events, at insurance company events. And so every time she spoke at sales events. So her book was presented to salespeople. And so as part of her speaking engagement, if she was paid, whatever she was paid to speak, part of the contract also included purchase of maybe 500 books, if it was the number of books per meeting. I know COVID shut down a lot of in-person meetings over the last year and a half, but people are still doing speaking engagements and they're still writing books into contracts. Large corporations are still booking people to speak at their annual events, virtually or in person, hopefully more in person. And that's one avenue to sell your book also, as a companion guide. But not so much in sales, but hopefully in add-ons, like I said, in gaining new clients and attracting new clients and new contracts and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the opportunities, like you said, to speak, which is also going to lead to new clients and really take your authority level, your leadership level to another, or your authority or leadership status to another level as a published author. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Very, very, very important point. So what's a common pitfall or mistake that business owners should be careful to avoid when embarking upon the journey to write and get their books published?
Definitely cutting corners. There was a blog that was published, I want to say it was like 6 years ago. Someone had figured out, and I keep a link to it on my website. Someone had figured out how to calculate how many books were on Amazon. And it turned out, if this was 6 or 8 years ago, they figured out that there were 5 books, one book every 5 minutes was published to Amazon. And I use Amazon as an example because Amazon is the world's largest bookseller. So now Amazon has since removed the ability to see how many books are on Amazon. So it's hard to tell, but I called them to find out. They have no idea. The number of books that are added to Amazon's catalog every day is about a book a minute. It changes constantly.
Wow.
So my point to this is that if there are that many books and yours is one of those books, it is to your advantage to present the best written, the most beautifully covered book that you could possibly produce.
Yes.
Don't cut corners to save money. It is absolutely an investment. I recognize it is a large investment, as any published author will tell you. But I think the biggest mistake that business owners make is cutting corners, maybe not hiring an editor, so you put out a book that's not so great, not hiring a professional cover designer, so you have a cover that's not so great, and then it falls flat, and then they wonder why.
Yeah. Very sage advice, very important.
Yeah.
So what's the big takeaway that you can share that would get folks excited about finally becoming a published author?
Your story is unique. I always say that if God put a story on your heart, somebody needs to read it. And I think that if business owners really consider what they do, you're special, you're unique. No one does what you do, how you do it. So I think that what you do matters. And there are people out there who need what you have. So share it. Don't hide it.
Yeah. Powerful words. So we could take it off the bucket list and actually make it happen. Yes. All right. You have a free resource that business owners can use right now, even if they haven't, or even if they have published their book. Can you share what that is and why people should download it?
every book is sold from an author's platform. And so I created a free download. It's just 5 things that every author needs that they can do right now to improve their platform, to increase visibility. And even if you haven't published yet, I think that it's a great thing to look at because it'll give you an idea of what you need to have in place, some of the moving parts that you need to have in place when you do publish.
Okay, and you can find the link for that for those watching in the, there is a link in the caption of this live stream. Once clicked, you can, you'll see a presentation there of all the speakers on our expert panel, as well as where you can follow them online and the resources that they've shared today. So persons can get a hold of that. And this really quickly just shares where we can follow you online, although I know it's in the document.
Yeah, it's in the document. LinkedIn, I'm Lynn Presti McGinnis. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm Lynn McG. And on Facebook, I'm Lynn McGinnis Author Marketing. So you can find me everywhere.
Great, great, great. And
Thank
let
you,
me
Stephanie.
share some feedback from those watching. Heidi says you have such a wealth of experience, Lynn, and doing all of that in such a full house. So impressive. Talking about the many hats that you're wearing there. And I love that our stories are unique. We all have people to help and serve. And Yvonne says, wow, Lynn, I never thought that anyone would be interested in my story. Yes, yes, absolutely. And Barbie says, this is great, Lynn. You are so powerful.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you love helping authors and you spend your days doing that. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for lending your expertise, and thank you for the resource that you've shared with us today. Folks, again, you can download that in the document that's in the caption right here. Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Stephanie.
And I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.